Hey everyone! Okay, so just jumping right into this chapter, we get an interesting reveal that apparently Sakamoto knows X, or as Kashima puts it, Sakamoto was the first person to ever injure him. So, yeah, this obviously raises more than a couple questions about how Sakamoto knows him. More than likely, I think that this shows that there is some kind of connection between Sakamoto, X, and the JAA. But this also inadvertently answers a pretty important question as well, which is just who put the bounty on Sakamoto's head. And even though it wasn't explicitly said in the chapter, and we still don't know how he did it, yeah, this definitely more or less confirms that X commissioned the bounty on Sakamoto's head, likely in order to draw him out into the open. Now, admittedly, this is also part of the chapter that's both hilariously epic and a little disappointing for me. The disappointing part is seeing Shiba and Osaragi dip out on Sakamoto, leaving him to deal with Kashima. And after seeing some of Osaragi's thoughts on Sakamoto and how he looks at him like a big cuddly teddy bear, yeah, that alone just kind of made me say I want to see more of them, more of their interactions and them fighting together. But on the flip side of that, we did get to see Sakamoto go absolutely wild on Kashima. Like that one panel of Sakamoto like destroying Kashima's mouth gun was just dastardly work. In saying all that though, even though Shiba and Osaragi did leave him to deal with Kashima, I do also appreciate the moment where Shiba praises Taro and showing even now after having left the order, he still holds him in high regard, and how Shishiba almost seemed to allude to the idea that even though Shishiba even alluded to the idea that even though Sakamoto is retired and his flabby form he's probably weaker than he was before, it seems I like how Shishiba seemed to indicate even now he's still like Taro is still stronger than Shishiba. That seems to be what he was alluding to there, I think. With that said, though, the chapter also begins a very high tense fight between Shin and Seba. And one thing I liked about this fight is how it does expose the weakness of clairvoyance versus invisibility, and how even if Shin can read Seba's mind to know where he is, it's another matter entirely in order to predict how he'll attack because the invisibility like cloaks his movements. But I also like how this got But one thing I also liked is how this chapter kind of really showed Shin's adaptability in a way, and how around the time where we see where after noticing a bird-like silhouette, Shin basically shifted his strategy to acting as bait in order to mark Seba with a stained blood, because he recognized the bird as the one with Heisuke, because after following Shin's maneuver to kind of mark Seba, we see a shot basically seeing a shot basically fired on Seba, and revealing the return of everyone's favorite oblivious sniper boy Heisuke coming in with the clutch to save Shin. And again, it's an example of Shin's adaptability, and how even when he's outmatched, he still tries to find ways in order to subvert those weaknesses and whatnot. Now, of course, with Heisuke's reveal, though, that does beg the question of where is Hana? Because the last we saw Heisuke, he was with Hana, but I think I also remember Heisuke asking her to get the police, so Heisuke's here to just help mop up the mess, so to speak, until they arrive. And yeah, as a whole, I really like the dynamics of this fight and how Shin was forced to improvise. I think maybe if I had one small critique, I would have liked it if we got to see a little more of Shin taking on Seba solo before Heisuke arrived, but that's just a nitpick. I do love how Shin was forced to kind of find a different solution of confronting Seba directly, which in itself, it shows Shin's adaptability. Having said that, there is one minor detail to talk about with this chapter, which is before Sakamoto is left alone to deal with Kashima, Shishiba actually introduces Osaragi to Sakamoto and that she is one of the newer members of the Order. So, yeah, an interesting reveal there that Osaragi is in essence Sakamoto's replacement, you could say, so to speak, and confirming in its own way, like its own way of even if Sakamoto doesn't really care about returning to the Order, it does show it is a way of showing Sakamoto how things have changed since he left. Um, Also, one thing I really liked about Sakamoto's fight in itself is how Sakamoto also knew from an instant of looking at Kashima that the way to get the advantage over him was to kind of mess with his head. Like Sakamoto was just kind of absolutely kind of dogging on, absolutely just kind of like fucking around with Kashima's mind, like saying all these different things about like I fight because assholes like you don't have a code or anything like that. Like just kind of messing around with Kashima's head a lot. I like how there's kind of a verbal manipulation going on in this fight as well. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, or follow me on Blue Sky, Analyst, Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the bell, hit the subscribe button, and just shove it around, guys. Dark Knight MMA, signing off. Later, everyone.